Hello there, my friend, and welcome back to the Doing What Matters podcast. It is great to be with you. And if you are new to the podcast, welcome in. My name is Teresa McCloy. And on this podcast, we talk about life and business and all things that matter. We take a holistic approach to living from a place of rest, not rush, an internal place that we get to connect to, not a place that's coming at us, but a place that comes from us, and how God uniquely created and designed each of us. On today's episode, I just want to keep it light and keep it fun. We are halfway through the year, right in the middle of the year in July, and I just wanted to reflect a little bit on the summer season and really just share with you some of the things that I love about summer and why I love those things, and maybe get you thinking about why you like summer. Maybe you don't like summer. I don't know, but why could you learn to like summer? How could you learn to like summer? So I just want to dive in with about 5 things that I want to share with you that I love about summer. Maybe they'll give you some new things to connect to. Most of these really come from a place of rest for me. They're things that help me lean into resting well in the summer. So I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to give you these 4, 5, 6 things that I love about summer. And then I would love to hear from you. What do you love about summer? One of the ways that you could connect and let me know what you love is through our free community. Here at the Real Life Process, we have an absolutely free community where we hang out, where people that are connected and want to do these kinds of conversations can hang out together. We use a platform called Circle to do that. And so you can just go to our website, click on the word community at thereallifeprocess.com, and join our free community and tag me and let me know what you love about summer. I'm always looking for new ideas and new ways that people spend the summer season. But let me dive in to some of mine. One of the first ones I want to share with you is during the summer, I take Fridays off, if at all possible. That just gives me a really big expansive time over the weekend to expand into doing things that I love to do. I love to be outside. I love to get that vitamin D and that sunshine. And so if I can take Fridays off, that gives me a chance to be outside more. It also gives me a chance to do things with people that I love to hang out with. So on those Friday day offs, I want to be really intentional to spend time in what I call my people blocks. It might be a great phone conversation or Zoom call where I can sit outside on my porch. It might be that I'm going out to lunch with somebody. It might be that Farmer Dale and I are taking some extra time off to do something on Friday afternoon. It might be some self-care. But during the summertime, I love to schedule Fridays off as much as possible. Now, you may or may not be able to do that. Depends on if you have a flexible schedule, if you work for yourself, work from home, those types of things. But look at your calendar in July, August, early September, and see how many days could you grab if you can't take off every Friday. Are there times that you could be really intentional to have the day off or the afternoon off to really rejuvenate yourself, get some time that is purposeful for you to have some life-giving things that you love to do? Doesn't have to be a vacation, just some life-giving things. So that's one of the things I love about summer. The second thing that I love about summer is maybe a little bit of an addiction, but it is my love of flowers and gardening. Now, when I say gardening, I don't necessarily mean like growing vegetables gardening. It's more growing flowers. And on the farm in my backyard, I have several flower beds and keep adding more. I also love to have lots of potted plants on my porch. There is just something for me that's life-giving about tending to those plants. And not only tending to them and getting in some exercise, whether I'm pulling weeds or just walking around watering all my plants in the evening, but also just what they give back in beauty. So I love fresh flower arrangements and arranging fresh flowers. It's very creative for me. And I love bringing those colors together and sitting them around my home. And I often have at least one, if not two, fresh flower arrangements. To go with that desire of those beautiful arrangements, over the years, I've just learned to grow fresh flowers. There is something about connecting to the dirt, digging in the dirt, and working in the dirt that brings out that farm girl place in me. And as I said earlier, many times I love to sit on my porch and have a call with a friend or whatever. So to be surrounded by that beauty is just a wonderful thing. A new thing that I have discovered this summer is actually container gardening. I've ordered a couple of big containers and started some gardening inside of containers that are actually sitting in where my garden used to be. I'm really loving those containers. You see them all over social media where you could fill them with dirt and then put your flowers or your vegetables or whatever inside of those. So those are my new way to garden besides all of my containers. But there's just something life-giving about seeing those things come to life, and they really last a really long time. I start late April and go through almost October with growing flowers and just being outdoors with all of that in my landscape and my garden. So I just challenge you, start small if you'd like to, but look into some way to garden or to grow something as a connection point. It's really good for your body and your soul. So that's one of my second things I love about summer is gardening. One of the third things that I love is car rides. And I know that sounds crazy. I am blessed to have a little bitty red car that's a convertible that I got about, I don't know, almost 13 years ago. It's almost an antique. But whether you have a convertible or just a car that you drive every day, just getting in the car and going for a long drive to a destination is so life-giving for me in the summer. Part of it is feeling the sunshine and the warmth, going somewhere special. So oftentimes I'll combine this with a Friday day off day or something along that nature. But there's something about, again, you hear the outdoors theme here, but I love car rides. I love to have a destination. Many times I'll drive completely in silence. I don't know about you, but as much as I love music, sometimes just driving quietly by myself gives me think time. Some of my best ideas come in the car. Sometimes I am got the music blaring and I am worshiping all out, or I'm listening to some great jazz. Sometimes I'm listening to a book or a podcast, but there's something about a drive here in the Midwest where I know I don't have to worry about weather, snow and ice and those things, that in the summertime is just so rejuvenating for me. So I love a good drive in a car as well in the summertime. Now, along with that, sometimes that car ride will mean that I'm going to go somewhere and eat outside. So if I can find a restaurant or a cafe that has outside eating, that I can do that in an evening or eat my bagel outside early morning or something like that, I love that. So many of these things combined together, the need to be outside, a great car ride, eating outside. But I will say this too, we do a lot of grilling out in the summer. Actually, just last night we grilled out and I made some fresh vegetables and we eat outside on our porch in our little house that we have next door, our little retreat house. And that is so life-giving for me to sit outside on an evening. It was beautiful out last night. It was nice and cool. And then we made a fire in the little fire pit that we have. And we just spent the whole evening outside. And so eating outside, there's just something about that. And I know some people don't like the bugs. I know some people don't like the bugs or they think there's going to be bugs. I've found some great little citronella candles that I can light that keep most of the bugs away. And we have one of those bug zappers and all the things. So if I can take in a meal outside, there is just something beautiful about that. So I don't know about you, but I love to eat outside if possible. And then the last thing I will say is one of the things that I cherish about just how God has created the seasons and given us these seasonal changes, no matter where you live in the world, there are seasonal changes, is here in the Midwest in the summertime, we have long, late nights. Now, those long nights are the longest around June the 20th. So we're on the other side already here in July, but I love the long, late nights. Staying outside till it turns dusk and watching the sunset. Sometimes I will get in my hot tub. Sometimes we'll make a fire. Sometimes I'll just sit on the porch. Sometimes I'm walking around my yard, gardening, pulling some weeds, tending to the plants, seeing what they need. But there's just something beautiful about your feet on the earth, taking off your shoes and connecting and grounding yourself is what they often refer to it as. It is just beautiful to be outside on a late night. Just to take in all of God's creation. You can hear as I talk about the things I love about summer, so many of them are feeling God's sunshine, taking in the earth, being in the dirt, if at all possible, eating outside with a beautiful view that we have here on our farm in the summer, taking in all the colors, just really being a part and connecting. There's something so grounding about being in creation. And I just want to encourage you this summer to not miss those things that God gives us to see and to do. Now, I know it's different in all parts of the country as you're listening in. In fact, again, I would love to hear from you. What do you love about where you live and what changes for you in the summer season? Every season is different. And I could do a podcast episode like this about every single season because there's things I love about fall. But these are the things I love about summer. And I would love to hear from you what you love about summer. I'd love for you to just sit and ponder and think about what are the blessings that you get and that you receive in the summer season. I can't wait to hear from your story. Remember, you can connect with us over in the community if you would like. You can send me an email at teresa@thereallifeprocess.com. I love to hear from you. But one of the biggest compliments you can pay me is if you actually go to your favorite podcast player and you leave us a review about the podcast. That just means so much to me. As I have these conversations with you, sometimes I feel like they're a little bit one-sided. And so I love hearing back from you and just knowing that you're out there and that you're tracking with me and that it is giving you some food for thought, giving you a perspective that encourages you to live your life from a place of rest, not rush. Enjoy the summer, my friends. It has lots of moments for you. And remember that every ordinary day has an extraordinary moment. You just have to look for them. Be on the lookout this summer as you live life to the fullest. I'll be back next week with more conversations around doing what matters.